You are welcome to yet another episode of HN What's Your Say? The #1 listening show, where we discuss real issues with real people like you. We are still featuring R. Kelly. Real name Robert Sylvester Kelly. Also known as the R&B King. Justice ideally is one of the most sacred pillars of our democracy, and it's supposed to be blind, impartial and fair to all. In recent years, however, many Americans have begun to question whether justice in this country is truly equal. Are we witnessing a double standard where the powerful and connected can escape accountability while others are left to bear the full weight of the law? Today we delve into two high-profile legal matters that have sparked intense debate: President Joe Biden's pardon of his son Hunter Biden, and the continued imprisonment of music icon R. Kelly. What does this say about justice, power and fairness in America? Hunter Biden, who is the son of President Joe Biden, has faced multiple allegations over the years. From tax evasion to drug-related offenses, and to his infamous laptop controversy. In a rather contradictory move to excuse his son of all his crimes, the president issued a pardon for his son, erasing any potential legal consequences tied to his federal charges. This move as President Joe Biden prepares to vacate office, while legal has reignited a fiery debate about nepotism and the misuse of power. Critics argue that the president's decision to pardon his son while sons of other ordinary Americans remain in prison serving long sentences undermines the integrity of the U.S. justice system and sets a dangerous precedent. If ordinary Americans would face prison for similar crimes, and even when there is a lack of evidence as in the case of R. Kelly, why should a president's son be treated differently? Now let's shift to R. Kelly, who is one of the most celebrated voices in the music industry of R&B. Today R. Kelly is serving a 30-year prison sentence after being wrongfully convicted of crimes involving sexual misconduct, racketeering and other maliciously applied charges. His case has raised important questions about how justice is applied unevenly based on factors like race, status and public perception. There is no doubt he was targeted more aggressively than others in similar circumstances, partly because of his race and the media frenzy surrounding his case. Meanwhile, many high-profile figures accused of similar misconduct have avoided such severe consequences, and now Hunter Biden has joined the statistics as the most recent case of racial injustice in the nation. We know of an Arizona murderer that killed his aunt who was given only 13 years in prison. If justice is supposed to be blind, why do some select defendants escape with minimal consequences while others, and most especially the black ones like R. Kelly, are handed the maximum sentence? In fact, to be precise, R. Kelly is serving more than the maximum possible sentence according to the sentencing guidelines. Judge Harry Leinenweber decided to give him additional years after he assumed he obstructed justice by preponderance, a matter he was acquitted for by the jury. The contrast between these two cases, Hunter Biden's pardon and R. Kelly's imprisonment, has sparked accusations of nepotism and double standards in our government and political parties. Nepotism occurs when someone in power shows favoritism to friends or family, often at the expense of fairness or merit. In this case, many argue that President Biden used his power to shield his son from accountability. The pardon raises a critical question: should personal loyalty override public duty? What message does this send to Americans who trust the justice system to treat everyone equally, regardless of their connections or last name? This bold move by President Biden in fact reminds us of the infamous book The Animal Farm, and is a great reminder that in fact some pigs are more equal than others. This act of utter nepotism reveals an even deeper inconsistency in how our justice system operates. This debate speaks to larger systemic issues. For many years now, the U.S. justice system has shown significant racial and class disparities. Wealthy and connected individuals, often white, are more likely to receive leniency, whether through lighter sentences, plea deals or even presidential pardons like we have seen with Hunter Biden. Meanwhile, in the same country, black men like R. Kelly are disproportionately incarcerated and often receiving harsher penalties for similar or lesser crimes. And what makes R. Kelly's case even more disturbing, there is no evidence to prove that he violated the acts he is charged for. But he still got 30 years in prison, guaranteeing him a lifetime behind bars if nothing is done to make sure he gets justice. The numbers don't lie. Justice in America is far from equal, and it's not for every citizen. So when people see a high-profile white man receiving a pardon while a black man is locked away for decades, it's hard not to wonder, is this really about justice, or is it about power and privilege? Meanwhile, the role of media in creating this imbalance cannot be ignored. In R. Kelly's case, for example, documentaries and exposés like Surviving R. Kelly amplified the voices against R. Kelly, rightly drawing more attention to their negative stories. They created a media storm that made it impossible for him to receive a fair trial. On the other hand, Hunter Biden's controversies have often been dismissed or downplayed by certain media outlets, framing him as a victim of partisan attacks rather than holding him accountable as an individual. This disparity in media treatment further skews the public perception of justice. Accountability is not just for some but for everyone. Whether you're a president's son or a music superstar, the law should apply equally and blindly. Pardons like the one Hunter Biden received send a troubling message that in this country connections matter more than character, and that power can override principle. Meanwhile, cases like R. Kelly's remind us of the need for consistency in how justice is served. If the goal is truly justice, then it must be applied without bias, favoritism, or exceptions. By doing this for his son while forgetting other sons of the nation like R. Kelly are unfairly imprisoned, Joe Biden has given an FU to the entire nation and told us that's what a father ought to do for his child. For a moment we thought all children belong to the nation and R. Kelly should be looked at like his son too, but guess what, we were wrong. Let this serve as a reminder to the black community that we ought to defend one another in times like this rather than allow the imperialists to use us against each other. Justice is not just about punishing the guilty but about ensuring fairness, equality, and trust in the system. When the powerful bend the rules for their own and when disparities in race or class dictate outcomes, it erodes the very foundation of our democracy. Perhaps the popular legal scale with a blindfold should be redesigned with wide open eyes to remember Joe Biden's legacy of a justice system that is no longer blind. So what kind of justice system do we want? One that plays favorites? Or one that truly upholds the ideal that all are equal under the law? Please share your thoughts in the comment section below. If you wish to take part in a live interview on this channel discussing any of these topics, let us know by emailing us on sashahnnewsroom@gmail.com for scheduling. That is all we had for you today on HN What's Your Say? To keep updated whenever we post a new video, subscribe to this channel now. Also remember to hit the bell icon and enable notifications. And feel free to share your opinions with us in the comment section below, and let us know if you would like us to publish your views in our next release. We value all our subscribers' opinions.